What's going on, everybody? Josh Callaway alongside James D. Jackson, Sooners Illustrated and 24/7 Sports. At the stadium in Norman, Oklahoma, got beat on Saturday, 34-26. Ole Miss, number 8 team in the land, come into Norman, knocks off the Sooners on Saturday, hands OU their second loss of the season. James, when we were in Dallas, a couple of weeks ago, I think the theme of that instant reaction and coming out of that game was disappointing. Just such a letdown after that game. They respond in Columbia. But here we are again, disappointment again on Saturday. This game was there to be had. The third quarter was epic. This place was absolutely on fire. Oklahoma had a lead in this game. But then at the end of the day, Ole Miss just better. I think Brent Venables said as much. They were better than us. It was a sentence that Brent Venables said post-game. Hard to argue. There's a lot to cover here. But just... it's the same kind of story again. A lot of mistakes, opportunities were there. This game was there to be won for Oklahoma, but they do too many dumb things, and at the end they lose. It's just kind of same old story again. We're in this same spot. We've been in this spot a lot the last 4 years. We're in this spot again.
The thing that I've noticed about since Oklahoma's been in the SEC, the mistakes are made. It doesn't matter which team it is, mistakes are going to be made on both sides of the field. But it seems like Oklahoma can't capitalize on the other team's mistakes, quite often. I mean, we saw it against South Carolina, they did so, but they had opportunities, as you said, against Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin went for it down here on his own end. Oklahoma
inexplicable.
Got the ball. Yeah. Oklahoma got the ball on a fumble. You have to score a touchdown there. They had negative 4 yards on that drive. Those are the times where you have to take advantage. And then you have the safety. That gives you 2 points. Then they get the ball and they get a field goal. That's another 3 points. So you spot them 5 points on that play alone, and that's just so hard to come back from. The last 8 minutes of the second quarter, it seems like OU always plays their worst football. And
this is from a coach that stresses the middle eight, and they're horrible in the middle eight.
That has been a thing all season. I mean, it didn't matter what game, but against Michigan, Auburn, they were able to come back from it. But it's like those, you can't do that against these great teams. I mean, Ole Miss is number 8 in the country. I mean, they're a really good team. You can't make those mistakes. So the opportunities are there, as you said. It's just they weren't taking advantage. I mean, John Mateer didn't look like he was on point, especially in the end of the game. It took, Xavier Robinson just becoming Superman and running down the field to bring Oklahoma back into this game. You get the lead, you're comfortable, your defense is out there, and you think, okay, the best units on the field, they're going to win this game for you. And they gave up the punt here because of what happened down here on the other end, and Satania fumbles the ball. Like there's just things that happen for this team that just not able to overcome, good things that they do. The defense gets a stop, but you can't. You give up a fumble. I mean, it's like it goes back and forth, man. It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch because Oklahoma should be a good enough team to beat Ole Miss, who is number 8 in the country. So you should be at those high ranks, the standard of Oklahoma. But you just had those plays here and there that you weren't able to do it.
Yeah, this game was defined by what I like to call losing football. A lot of just losing football today. Oklahoma penalties. My God, the penalties. So many just brutal penalties and mistakes. You think of they have the punt where they have a hole on the punt, and then they are backed up to the 5, and then they have another hold, so they're backed up to the 2, and then they run an outside run for whatever reason. It gets blown up. Safety. And that was at a point in the game where they had some momentum after the long Satania touchdown, and then they got a stop, but then they gave it back. The fumble that you were talking about. Satania fumbles the punt return. John Mateer missing open receivers, whatever it is. The list is stupendously long of just losing football, just stuff you can't do. And Oklahoma, we're broken record here. They're not good enough to overcome shooting themselves in the foot the amount of times that they do. They just do it over and over and over. It's maddening. And it happened again today. Offensively, James, it was bad. It ends up being okay in the end because it was 26 points, which if you said before the game 26 points, would you take it? You probably would have said yes.
Yeah.
But the majority of their yards came on 2 plays. Xavier Robinson goes 65 yards to the house, which was awesome. Isaiah Satania goes 76 yards to the house, which was also awesome. But other than that, they didn't really do anything. I mean, Xavier Robinson had a good day, but before that run, they had 12 yards rushing. It was the third quarter against one of the worst rushing defenses in the country, certainly one of the worst in the SEC. Still couldn't run the ball. I don't know. I mean, John Mateer wasn't good at all. We can get into him specifically in a second, but offensively, it wasn't any good. It was bad, actually, for most of this game. Even though the point total and the yardage might look okay at the end, if you watch this game, you know that there was a lot left to be desired offensively.
Somebody told you before the game that you're going to score 26 points, right?
Yeah, right.
You're going to get 2 explosive plays, a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. You would have thought you won that game. I mean, it's just that situation. But as we talked about, it was just those little ticky-tack errors, like the 2 holes, then the safety, then going forward on 4th down near midfield against the second most high-powered offense in the nation. Like you can't give them that field position. You got to punt the ball there. Like you can't be that aggressive if your offense is not humming. And so it's just tough. It's just tough to think about because they could have won this game, Josh. They certainly could have won this game, but they just made these mistakes. Sometimes it was the coaches. Sometimes it was the players when the players didn't do the right things, and it just accumulated to what this result is in a loss.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's mad. I know it's the number 8 team in the country. I mean, it's a good loss because of how close it was, but it's like Oklahoma should have won that game. Like, I mean, they had
were favored today.
Yeah,
they were favored.
They were favored. They should have won that game. There was like this is exactly how you should look at it. Now it's going to make the road difficult, but
no doubt. It's funny because a lot of this game felt like the opposite of what the last 2 weeks have been, where Oklahoma was clearly better than Texas, but couldn't get any separation. Same thing with South Carolina. They responded in the second half in Columbia. Yeah. This game was kind of the opposite. Ole Miss was kind of smacking them around in the first half, but Oklahoma was still in it. Xavier Robinson gets the long run. All of a sudden, hey, they're down 5. They're right there. They get the stop. They score again. They have the lead. This place is on fire, and they let Ole Miss go down the field and score. We'll get into the defense in a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We got to get back to offense. John Mateer, bad day. Bad day. He wasn't good, and it's unfortunate because in the first half of this game, the first few drives or so, it kind of felt like this is looking a little more like John Mateer earlier in the year, pre-injury. Second half, he just missing, just straight up missing, guys. 17 of 31, 223, did have a touchdown, got sacked 3 times. His legs are not a factor at all right now like they were earlier in the year. You think of the Michigan game where he was amazing with the run game. That has not been a factor at all. Again, just missing guys, both missing them in terms of not throwing them the ball, and then missing them in terms of just inaccurate. He just isn't playing well. And, he said post-game he's not making any excuses. He says the thumb's not bothering him. But, you look at – I have very hard to believe that because he has not been good in these last 3 weeks. I thought in Columbia he was fine. They didn't ask him to do a lot, but he was bad in Dallas, and he was bad again today. And, people are doing this revisionist history thing where like, oh, he's been bad. He was leading the Heisman before he got hurt. And, look, he's always been a little inaccurate. He always put the ball in trouble. We talked about that all season. He's a risk taker, right? He's going to throw interceptions, but he's just again, the inaccuracy and just not seeing the field well. Maybe his accuracy's a little shaky. Maybe he's a little gun-shy because of the thumb. I don't know what it is, but bottom line, we talked about it earlier in the year. This offense needs number 10 to be great, to be good, and he's not playing well right now, and it's costing them in a big way. It was not a good day for John Mateer.
He's a gunslinger. That's what he was designed to be, and now it seems like he's holding on to it a lot more than he used to. Like you would take the interception here and there if you're going to get 2 touchdowns from it. It's like that's supposed to happen for him, and it's not working for him. It seems like he's very choppy now. He has those happy feet in the pocket. He doesn't look comfortable like he did early on in the season. As you said, he was leading the Heisman race because he looked great. I mean, he was phenomenal. He looked like, you got exactly what they needed from him. But he's not doing that now. And I don't know if that's because of the injury or is it because of he has the yips now because of how many times he turned it over against Texas. Does that play a part into him holding on to the ball more now? But there's something different. There's something different in John Mateer that we're seeing because he played well against the SEC defense before as well with Auburn. He came back and
Michigan, good defense.
And Michigan has a great defense and played well against there too. So like it's not like the opponents were just bad. I mean they're still good defenses. So I don't know. This is a defense that I think it was the worst defense they played statistically this year, and outside of out of the Power 5.
The Power 5, you're right.
He didn't look as great. So it's like you don't know, man. I don't know. This wasn't there for him.
They don't have any difference makers at receiver right now either, which is, Isaiah Satania is playing well, right? I mean, he had another big game, had the long touchdown I just talked about, but we were spoiled a long time here. I mean, you had a lot of NFL guys, your CeeDee Lambs, your Marquise Browns, CeeDee Westbrook. I mean, you go back, they just don't. I mean, that's a high bar, but they're missing that right now. And again, Isaiah Satania is playing well. I think we all hope for a little more Javonte Gibson. He one catch for 3 yards today. I mean, just not a factor at all. Deion Burks.
And that catch he should have had about 10 more yards on that.
That's
he
right.
Turned the wrong way. And that ruined that drive, I believe. They didn't get a first down off after that. So it was like that's rough, man.
Deion Burks is just not having the season it looked like we all thought he was going to have, especially after the Michigan game where he was so good. And it was like this guy's set up for a huge year. It's not really happening. Jaren Kanak, was an amazing story early in the year. Not really just having nearly the impact we had early in the year. And again, I'm not necessarily even saying it's all those guys' fault. That's just the reality. I don't know if is it Mateer, is it Arbuckle, is it the line, is it the whole offense? I don't know, but these guys are not doing what we saw earlier in the year. And Xavier Robinson, again, he was the one bright spot today. He came in and was awesome. He ran 109 yards on 9 carries. Obviously, he had the 65. But even if you take away the 65-yard, he was still good. I mean, his yards per carry, I think, is still about 5-ish, even without the long one.
Say how many carries he had again. I mean,
9 for 109.
9 carries after
less than last week, despite him being really good today.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And Brent Venables, I think Ben Arbuckle said it too. I wasn't over for Ben Arbuckle, but he said, we should have gave him the ball more in the second half for sure. Yeah. I mean, just based on what he had done, he was running well. The offensive line was blocking better. It seemed like when he was in there he was running the ball up the middle. I mean, it was like they had that pressure, and his long run was because he broke a tackle, which is running through trash, which is what Oklahoma preaches. They got to have a running back that can do that, and he did that. So you would like to have seen him get the ball more because John Mateer wasn't up to his standard. He wasn't playing as well as he should have. You want to see Xavier Robinson get the ball more. So it's like, that's where it goes back to the coaches a little bit. Like I said, I think the players had a lot of responsibility for the loss, but I think you go back to the coaches because of things like that. I mean, it's just rough.
We'll have a lot of time to talk about Tennessee game next week, but I am demanding right now 20 carries at least for X-Rob in Knoxville. I need 20 carries. Ride that dude, okay, man? And we did the same thing last year where, it was later in the year, but against Alabama, and it was like, man, where's this guy been all our life? Exactly. We're doing the same thing, but, like, we know what he is. And, again, he was banged up, I think, early in the year, which is part of it, but – yeah,
I've been following that guy since he was sophomore in high school. Like I've seen, he's always been a stud.
Everywhere he's been, every level. I need more Xavier Robinson. Yeah, so offense has got lots of problems. It's not really any one thing. I don't feel like it's just kind of Ben Arbuckle's young. He's a young OC still learning this thing. John Mateer's not playing well. The O-line I thought was mostly fine, all things considered. I mean, they again had Ryan Foje start today, which I don't think anyone saw coming. He had him at tackle, and Derek Simmons was out, and so there was some okay aspects, but there's just nothing about this offense that's wowing you right now. But again, at the end of the day, they scored 26. They do have some big plays. It was the worst day of the year defensively, right? It wasn't great defensively. Lane Kiffin got the best of Brent Venables today, I thought. Trinidad Chambliss was awesome. He was making plays. He was killing OU with his legs. Had just a couple of just dimes that I thought guys were in position, but it was just a better throw. Like, there was kind of that cliche of, like, good throw and good catch will always beat good defense. I thought that happened a few times today. Similar to the Texas game, just couldn't get off the field on third down. Brent Venables talked about that. Third and fourth downs was a huge difference in the game. Ole Miss was way better, way more efficient on third and fourth downs in this game. What did you think defensively? Because, again, they got the lead, 26-25. They have the lead. They have the momentum. And Ole Miss goes on that drive and takes the lead. And, obviously, OU never got it back after that.
Two things I want to point out. Because, first off, Ole Miss's offensive line is a lot better than I thought. They are really good. Oklahoma was not getting pressure on the defensive front back there like they have been for a majority of the season. They didn't get that. I also said the cornerbacks are going to be somewhat like a unit you have to watch because of how good they are having explosive plays down the field. Yeah, Cortland Guillory played well. I mean, I don't think he gave up a catch. It was really good plays from him. On the other side, it's fine as well. But I don't think we talked enough about the safeties and the cheetah position, because that's where Ole Miss was eating up. They were just eating up the middle of the field. Down the field passes were in the middle of the field, or it was off of a guy that was covering from the middle of the field. They would run those little corner routes down the way where they'd run the corner off, but the corner route goes underneath, and they were just wide open. They were making those plays, and Oklahoma has seen that where it's just the teams they've been playing haven't been able to make that pass. Like, it's been open, but they haven't been able to make the pass and catch.
Well, they've been able to get more pressure. I was one of the top sacks. They had one sack today.
Yeah, and that too. And, like, it goes all into it. So, like, Ole Miss's offense and their offensive scheme is really good. As you said, Lane Kiffin just got the best of Brent Venables. Like, he ran a great offensive scheme. I mean, outside of a couple of going for it on fourth downs where he shouldn't have, it was great overall for them. And I think that was the biggest difference. Like, as I said, this is the second, best offense in the nation. So there's going to be something's going to give here and there. But Oklahoma had to win a few more times, just a few more times on those third and fourth down plays where they didn't do that. And so that's what happened there.
Yeah, and look, I still think this defense is awesome, right? It's still one of the best in the country. But, like you said, at the end of the day, just the one sack. They still got 14 TFLs again, which is crazy. But they just, couldn't get off the field on some third and longs, some bad penalties, had that rough in the passer. That was brutal.
That wasn't roughing the passer.
I don't think it was either, but they called it. You know,
go back and look at the replay. Jaden Jackson got blocked into Chambers. Like that was rough.
Yeah,
that was rough.
That was rough, and so it just kind of felt like we said, like Lane Kiffin and Trinidad Chambliss just beat Oklahoma today. They were just better than Oklahoma was, and that was kind of the story. And again, for the sweet love of God, how great would a turnover be? How cool would that be? And it keeps not happening. And look, we talked about it before. Earlier in the year, when they weren't getting turnovers, it was a joke. It was it was a funny thing. Like, it's crazy they can't get turnovers because they were still winning, and so it didn't matter. Now you're not winning, and your offense is kind of stinking it up. You would like the ability to have a short field every now and again, and they're not able to do it. It's just crazy that they don't force more. They get some fumbles, something, and just again, no turnovers today. And you know, OU again lose the turnover battle. Satania fumbles on the punt, and
they got turnover on downs. I guess. I mean, I always say you can maybe count those, but it's never like a momentum shifting, taking the ball away from the other team, where it ruins their momentum type of situation.
Sure.
So.
And that fourth down, that was insane. Lane Kiffin, while he got and he was enjoying this one post game, it was a great win for Lane Kiffin, obviously, and he deserves all that credit. There was some very goofy things that helped keep Oklahoma in the game. That fourth down that we talked about already, insane. It opened the door for you to get back in the game. And then also down in the goal line, he kept taking Chambliss out for Austin Simmons. I don't understand the infatuation. Chambliss was great today. Let him stay in the game, and it cost Ole Miss a couple times. They ended up winning, but if I was an Ole Miss fan, especially if they had lost, obviously, I'd be like, dude, what the heck? Keep Chambliss in the game. That guy is awesome.
It seemed like he wanted to get really cute. Like, he just got so comfortable.
Overthought it.
He just wanted to get Austin Simmons a touchdown play. I think that's what it came down to, because Kewan Lacey was running the football extremely well at that time in the game, and so they could have just gave it to him anyway. But I think they wanted Austin Simmons to have a touchdown pass just to make him feel comfortable and happy out there. It's weird to have stuff like that happen against Oklahoma. It's like, it's weird.
Man, I don't know what else to say. I mean, the third quarter is going to stick with me, because that sequence of the X-Rob touchdown, they get a quick 3-and-out. Kendall Daniels demolishes a guy over here. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. They get a quick 3-and-out. They go score again. They have the lead. This place was rocking. It was rocking. And then Ole Miss went on that drive. And then OU kind of just did some dumb stuff after that, and they lost. And then, again, they got the stop down 5. They get the stop. And if Isaiah Satania doesn't fumble the ball, they're going to have the ball on the plus side of the 50. Plenty of time, down 5. You still feel pretty good about where you're at. But in classic kind of Brent Venables fashion, they fumble and they shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, it's just kind of the same old story. So where are you at now? We'll spin it forward a little bit, as we typically do. They go to Knoxville next week. You got 4 games left. Is the season over? Literally, no. Obviously not. They're 6-2. If this team were to win out, they'd be in the playoff at 10-2. They would. There's no reason on earth to expect that's going to happen, because the team just does too many silly things. And so, I mean, if you're an OU fan who's feeling very pessimistic today, I wouldn't blame you. This was another just frustrating gut punch game that you felt like you should have won. You were at home, and I don't even know what else to say. It just disappointing, to say the least. And Oklahoma, as they move forward, the month of November is brutal, beyond brutal. I still think that they have a decent chance to win, even maybe next week. Maybe. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say this team is terrible, but they just do too many silly things. Where are you at with the team, though, as we move forward into the month of November? 4 games left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I thought they were going to go 9-3. Before the season. That's what I've been saying, and I thought that was going to be enough to get them into the CFP, because of how many difficult teams are going to be playing. And this is the month that all comes to fruition. They have to win either against Tennessee or Alabama. I think they got to split those 2 games, and I don't know if they're going to beat Alabama. Based on what I've seen and how Alabama's looked. I think Tennessee is beatable. Oklahoma can do that, but they got to play well. They can't come out here and play the way they did with all these mistakes. So that's got to get fixed. And I know you're over halfway through the season. Like, are you at this point, are who you are? I mean, that's like one of the things you worry about.
The penalties are so brutal. We kind of touched on it earlier, but the penalties were just a nightmare today.
That's where you're at. So it's like there's still a chance to save the season. Like I said, 9-3, you can split these 2 and then win out against Missouri and LSU, I think, and be just fine and possibly get in. Because, I mean, this loss was a close one. Like I said, the losses have to look okay. You know what I mean? So, like, that's going to be involved with the committee. So we'll just see. There's no way they're going to win the SEC title now. I don't think that. No, I think that's completely off the table now. So just getting into the CFP, I think, is the goal, and I think that's that can still happen. But you got to play well. I mean, because it could easily
– you could easily lose
the next
the rest of these. Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, look, when we did the season preview, I picked Oklahoma to go 8-4, largely because of this. Because this is what we've seen the last 4 years. It just is. Close game. Even if you feel like Oklahoma's better, even if it feels like they should win, they just can't get out of their own way. And that's what happened again today. So I think this is still a pretty solid team. I think it's a good defense who got cut up today by a good quarterback and a good offensive coach. And it's an offense that has a lot of problems, but if it all comes together, it's at least capable of scoring enough, and we've seen it. I mean, Auburn, Michigan, even last week to an extent in Columbia. But, at this point, you figure these last 4 games are probably all going to be close. Mm-hmm. And Oklahoma, they've got some close wins the last 4 years, but more often than not, they kind of blow it in close games. So, very frustrating day here in Norman. It was a sloppy day. The fans were still here. It was raining in the first half, but the fans were here. And like I said, in the third quarter, it was on fire in here. It was awesome, but they do the dumb stuff to get you beat. Same story we've said a lot the last few years, like I said. So, I think that's it. I don't know what else to say.
Shout out to Tate Sandell, man. Keep knocking them through. I mean, I mean, how long is he gonna keep this up? That's crazy. I mean, how good he is. So
I know. No, he was very good. We'll see. Lots of coverage over on the website, oklahoma.247sports.com. A lot more to come, obviously, throughout the rest of the day, Saturday, and obviously Sunday into next week. Sooners go back on the road out to Knoxville, take on Tennessee next week. So, I mean, that's the SEC, man. It's just one right after another, these brutally tough games. Full coverage over on the website, YouTube channel as well. You can hear from Brent Venables, Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, more players as well over there on the YouTube channel. And, turn the page. 4 games to go next week. Knoxville. We'll see. We'll see how Oklahoma can bounce back from this. Definitely a very deflating loss today. Again, I'm repeating myself. But after that third quarter, it felt like you were in position for one of the best wins of the Brent Venables era, and just the way the momentum, and just it was
how different it would look if they pulled that away. How different this season would look. How different would this team look. Like it's just like it's that slim a margin. You can't have those errors against a team like that. It's just you can't.
Yep, just, again, I said earlier, losing football. That's what Oklahoma does. They're losing football. So, a rough one. Oklahoma falls 34-26. Again, full coverage on the website as well as on the YouTube channel. That's it for now. We'll be back on Monday with Tom Green for the podcast. Pull this game all the way apart and really start to spin it forward into the month of November. For James D. Jackson, I'm Josh Callaway signing off from Norman. We'll see you next Saturday. Oklahoma back on the road taking on Tennessee in Knoxville.